Hello students, in this video we will look at the different types of triangles. Now how do we get different types of triangle? Based on what? So there are two things to look at. One is you can get them based on their sides and angles, and the other one is exclusively based on their angles. Let's look at under each one what are they. So under sides and angles you will have three types. They are, first one will be equilateral triangle. Okay. We'll look at it in details for each one of them. What are they? First we'll just list them down. Equilateral triangle, then you have Isosceles triangle, and you have Scalene triangle. Okay, and the ones which are exclusively under angles, they are first you have the acute triangle. I'm sorry. Then you have the obtuse triangle, and the third one is your right angle triangle. So I'll just put it as right angle. Okay. So based on whether it is sides and angles or just angles, we have three different types under each one. So you have equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, and scalene triangle. These are based on the sides and angles, whereas if you look at only angles, then you have acute, obtuse, and right angles. So this is a way of classifying them based on their sides and angles. So there are only two parts to a triangle. They have three sides and they have three angles. So the types of triangles will also vary based on their sides and angle. So let's first have a look at those under sides and angle. That is, we'll have a look at first equilateral triangle, then we'll go to isosceles, and then we'll go to the scalene triangle. So our first triangle is an equilateral triangle. The word equi means equal, and lateral means sides. So equal sides. So this triangle has equal sides. So if we draw a triangle like this, I'm just drawing it freehand. Let us assume we have a triangle A, B, and C. In an equilateral triangle, all three sides will be equal. So if this is 5 centimeters, this will be 5, and this will be 5 as well. But there is another part to this equilateral triangle. All three angles of this particular triangle are also equal. And if all three are equal, we know the sum of the three angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees always. So if the three angles are all equal, that means we should have all of them of one particular angle that should come to 80, and that happens only when each angle is 60 degrees. So we have 60, 60, 60 degrees. That gives us 180 degrees. So that satisfies our criteria, that property of a triangle, that the sum of all angles of a triangle should always be equal to 180 degrees. So remember, in an equilateral triangle, the three sides of a triangle will always be equal, and the three angles of that equilateral triangle will also be equal. Our next triangle is called as the isosceles triangle. In an isosceles triangle, two sides are equal, any two sides. Now let's take this example in this particular triangle ABC. and we'll take side AB and AC as equal. So if this is like 6, this will be 6. The third side can be anything. For example, it can just be 5. Okay, so it doesn't matter. The third side doesn't matter as long as any two sides of a triangle are equal. Now, as far as the angles are concerned, these two opposite sides which are equal, their opposite angles also will be equal. So if these two sides are equal, then the angle opposite to AC and the angle opposite to AB, which is here, they will be equal. So if AB is equal to AC, then angle B will also be equal to angle C. So in an isosceles triangle, two sides are equal, any two sides, and the angles opposite to those two equal sides will also be equal. So if let's say the equal angles are 50 degrees each, okay, then the third side will be the remaining. So if we, because we know the sum of all three sides, sum of angles of all three sides should always be equal to 180 degrees. So if we take angle B is equal to 50 degrees and angle C is equal to 50 degrees, and we need to find out what is angle A, then it is very easy, because 50 and 50 will give us 100 degrees. Okay, and if we take this 100 on the other side, we'll get 180 degrees minus 100 degrees, and that will give us angle A, which is equal to 80 degrees. Fine. So the sum of all angles of a triangle does come in handy when we need to find the third side if two sides are given. Coming to the isosceles triangle, always remember, okay, that two sides are equal and the angles opposite to them are also equal. This is an isosceles triangle. And the final triangle under sides and angles that we come is scalene triangle. What is a scalene triangle? In the first two we found, in the first one, which was an equilateral triangle, all three sides were equal. In the isosceles triangle, we found that two sides are equal. But in the scalene triangle, none of the sides, okay, are equal. In the scalene triangle, none of the sides are equal. Remember, in the first part, in the equilateral triangle, we found three sides and three angles are equal. In the isosceles triangle, we saw that two sides and two angles are equal. But in the scalene triangle, none of the sides or angles are equal. So if you have, let's say, we mark this as A, B and C, okay, then we could have something like 4, 5 and 7. And so also the angles will vary. They will have different angles, but the sum of all angles of this particular scalene triangle will come to 118 degrees. So in this case, in case of the scalene triangle, it will be something like this. AB will not be equal to BC, is not equal to side CA, or angle A is not equal to angle B, not equal to angle C. Okay, so under sides and angle we get three types. So once again, we'll just summarize what we have learnt. If we take a triangle ABC, then for an equilateral triangle, we will have AB equal to BC equal to CA and angle A equal to angle B equal to angle C. Okay. For an isosceles triangle, we can have any two sides equal. Okay, so if we have AB equal to BC, okay, that is AB equal to BC, then these two angles will be equal. So then this will mean you can say angle A equal to angle C, or if AB is equal to AC, then angle B will be equal to angle C, or if you take AC is equal to BC, okay, then if AC is equal to BC, that means angle A will be equal to angle B. These are the three possibilities of a isosceles triangle. I'm just exploring the possibilities, okay. And in case of a scalene triangle, we have just made a note of that none of the sides will be equal to each other, nor will be their angles, any of the angles equal to each other. Fine. Next, based on just exclusively the angles, how do we classify them? First one we have is an acute angle triangle. Okay. So for an acute angle triangle, let's draw another figure. It will look more like an acute angle triangle. Okay. Say we have an acute angle triangle A, B, C, and let's take this as 45 degrees. Let's take this as 65 degrees, and if this is 60, 40, 110, then this has to be 70 degrees. Note over here how the three angles, all three angles are acute angles. What is an acute angle? Any angle that is less than 90 degrees, okay, is if an angle is less than 90 degrees, then it is called as an acute angle. So notice all three angles are acute angles. So in an acute angle triangle, all angles of an acute angle triangle are always acute, okay, that is they are less than 90 degrees. That doesn't mean that the addition of all these three will not come up to 180 degrees. If you add them up, you will get 180 degrees. So that doesn't come in the way of the property of the triangle. Here it only shows you that all the angles of a triangle are acute. Such a triangle is referred to as an acute angle triangle. Our next triangle is called an obtuse angle triangle. What is an obtuse angle triangle? For that, we need to know what is an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is any angle, okay, an angle that is greater than 90 degrees is called as an obtuse angle, okay. If we were to draw an obtuse angle, it will be something like this, okay. Now in an obtuse angle triangle, only one angle will be greater than 90 degrees. So this, let's say this is 120 degrees, okay. That means this could be something like 35 degrees and this could be 25 degrees, okay. So have a look over here, only one angle is greater than 90 degrees, the other two are less than 90. So the other two are acute angle seen over there. So we can say in an obtuse angle triangle, only one angle is obtuse. Okay, this is an obtuse angle triangle. So only when one of the angles is an obtuse and the rest are acute, it is referred to as an obtuse angle triangle. Coming to the last type of a triangle, but the most important type of a triangle, is called as a right angle triangle. And a right angle triangle you will come across many times in geometry in your class 9 and more importantly in your class 10. Okay, particularly because of the application that it has got with respect to Pythagoras theorem. So we'll look at what is a Pythagoras theorem in another video, but over here we just look at what is a right angle triangle. So in a right angle triangle, let us draw a right angle triangle. Okay, so what is right angle? First of all, before we draw, see, a right angle means 90 degrees. Okay, this is called as a right angle. So when an angle is 90 degrees, it is called as right angle. So a right angle triangle will be something like this. Okay, mark this as A, B and C. This will be 90 degrees. The others can be anything, like for example this can be 55 degrees. Okay, and this can be 35 degrees. Okay, and the sum of all three will be equal to 180 degrees. So in a right angle triangle, one angle of the triangle is 90 degrees. That's when it becomes a right angle triangle. And in a right angle triangle, the triangle is marked specifically. The longest side of the triangle will obviously be opposite to the greatest angle. The greatest angle in a right angle triangle is always 90 degrees, and the longest side is always the side that is opposite to the 90 degrees. And this particular side, the longest side, is referred to as a hypotenuse. Okay, this becomes its base, and this tall thing that is standing, this becomes its altitude, or we also call it its height. That is how we mark a right angle triangle, and these markings are important when it comes to the Pythagoras theorem. To generalize the Pythagoras theorem, I'm not going to do in details over here because we do it in another video. In a Pythagoras theorem, it only says that the sum of the squares of two adjacent sides to the right angle is equal to the square of the third side. So as per the Pythagoras theorem, AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. Okay, and these are two sides which are adjacent to the right angle. The sum of their squares, so it's not just sum of these two adjacent sides, sum of their squares is equal to the square of the third side, which is always the hypotenuse. So this is what we call as the Pythagoras theorem. Extremely important when it comes to your class 9. We have a number of applications in different chapters in class 10. Okay, so we have now covered all the types of triangles under in this video. If you have liked this video, please click the like button, share it with your friends and classmates, subscribe to the channel and do not forget to click on the bell icon to be notified when a new video is posted. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.